Hello, everyone. Justin Stivers. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching another episode of the Stivers Show. Excited to have Miss Blanca Duran on the show today with Blanca Duran Photography. Blanca, how's it going?
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me in the program. Thank you very much.
Where are you joining us from?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Nice. How's Texas?
It's excellent. The weather is great, and I'm in the Space City. It's wonderful.
Nice.
You should come and visit.
Yeah, no, I love Texas. I love Texas. Well, tell me a little bit, I always like to start, who are you and what do you do?
Thank you. Well, I'm Blanca Duran. I'm a Mexican living in the United States. So I've been living here for about 13 years, actually. And what I do is photography. That's my full-time job. Well, that has been for 13 years. And so long story short, I came to the United States with no money on my pocket. I work as a waitress, sleeping in the floor in a mattress, and I met my husband here. So we both working at restaurants, being waiters. We were saving money from the tips to buy equipment, photography equipment, and that's the way we started our photography business. So first we started with my brand, like Blanca Duran Photography, promoting me. And like 5 years later, we opened our second brand, AB Motion Video. After that, because we were doing good, I was taking a lot of courses about marketing, business. For me, it's very important to study not only things about your field. Like for me, it's photography. And as much as you learn about your stuff, like technical stuff to be the best one, you cannot survive in any business if you don't learn the other aspects of the business, like finances, marketing, how to talk to people, psychology and why people buy stuff. So when I started doing that, like studying and reading books, is when our business started growing. And then we decided to open my educational platform. So now I have a YouTube channel there's where people find me mostly. And they find me from all over the world. My channel is in Spanish. So I teach photography, but the twist, like the difference with my channel is because I talk a lot about mindset. So photography, and I related to stories and mindset, marketing. I talk a lot about how to really become a successful person. Because I talk to people that are like me, like that come from low income backgrounds, from Latin America, from small cities, that we grew up with that, with struggling, childhood, like family, like not making enough money, having limited resources. So all the things that I went through to be here, I want them to go through it, but do it faster. So that's why I'm passionate about teaching. And so that's basically what I'm doing now, like teaching not only photography, but about, just how to be a happy person, successful person, and learn about business.
Man, that is such an awesome story. Was there a turning point, or like, how did you, start have nothing, come here with nothing, and then start this business? Like, most people don't just start thinking about, oh, I need to educate myself on how to run a business. I need to take the courses and all that stuff. Like, what got you, like, what was the thing that kind of made you realize, hey, I should start doing this? Was there something you watched, something you listened to?
Yes. Well, I was, there's a point where you start feeling desperate, like frustrated, and saying, well, this is not working. Like, nothing is changing. Like, I moved from one country to another, and the same things are happening. Nothing's changing. So it doesn't matter where do you go if you don't change from the inside. And then when you start realizing that. So I learned. It took me years to understand that. It took me years, but it was by coincidence that I started listening to mentors in YouTube, reading books. There was this. Actually, YouTube was the main thing that made me change, because, social media right now is everything. Like, it's the new Fox, the new ESPN. You don't go to watch TV to learn something. You go to YouTube. Actually, you're not even looking. You don't have to look, but something comes up right on your phone. So that's why I learned about this business entrepreneur that I was doing a lot of videos, and I started listening about business and about the mindset. And I was like, dang, I can't believe that all these years, I haven't focused on that. Like all the years in the university and college, teachers tell you like, you have to read, or you hear from people, you have to read books. And so that's what I did when I was in college, but I read the wrong books. Nobody told me which ones to read. So I was reading novels. Like, I mean, they're great, like Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, and all those ones.
Great book.
And I was, it's one of my favorites. But you know, for the things that I wanted to do, like if you want to have a business, that's not the stuff that is going to help you. I mean, if you want to be a writer, then that's great. You learn about techniques and inspiration and storytelling. But really, for business, for what I wanted to do, because I always knew that I wanted to run a business. I wanted to create and make a living from creating. So then when I discovered that I needed to read the right books, I started buying books. So that was actually in 2016 is when I made that change of reading. Like that first year when I started reading, that year I read 21 books. That for you, when I say, I'm going to change, I need to do this. And I was reading all kinds of topics because I was so, how can I say, amazed that I just discovered something new. I said like, oh my gosh, my life can change if I start reading. Because as I read one book and another book, the way that I was seeing life was different. Suddenly, there was no lack of money. There was no competition. Suddenly, everything was about abundance, you know, about creating, about giving more, because you start learning that the way you were seeing world is the way that you were living. Like you see the world because you were living inside this box, and there's nothing else. But when you start reading and learning from mentors, you see that, oh, actually there's a different world outside me. That's not my world. That's my reality only, but that's not the reality for everybody. So education, that was the key. And then I started following more entrepreneurs, more business people, reading more books. You know, when you read one book, that book takes you to another and another, because that same book recommends another book, and you start building your own list. But that was the key, like books, mentors, that triggered that change in my business.
Yeah. No, I completely relate to that. So then is that you took that and you're like, hey, I'm building successful photography business. Now I want to teach others how to do it. But you said add that component, that mindset component, that maybe I don't know if there's other coaches in that space, in that photography space, that maybe weren't bringing that into it. And so you just said, hey, I'm going to do something a little bit different, or what kind of made you decide to do the coaching aspect?
Well, it started because, as I said, I started sharing. I started creating content because I wanted to create. I wanted to share stuff. Actually, I started doing it for clients. I was thinking, okay, if clients see how I work, see the behind the scenes, they're going to hire me. So I was creating videos for YouTube. So my clients can see and say, oh, I see how Blanca poses the bride. So that was my purpose. So I started creating videos to attract clients, attract more brides, because I'm a wedding photographer. But what happened is that I started attracting another photographer, more photographers, not actually clients. So the ones that were starting to comment in my videos were photographers. And I was like, oh, this is going a different way. And also here in my city, in Houston, photographers were starting to recognize me in the streets, not because they channeled yet, because it wasn't big at all, but because I was winning contests, print competition, you know, and there are groups in Facebook and local organization. So they when I was going outside for a photo shoot at the park, there's always photographers everywhere in the parks. So there was always someone like, oh, Blanca, I know your work. I like you. Oh, thank you very much. Nice meeting you. So it started like that, very local. And then I was feeling more confident about creating more videos for them. So there's this thing that of course, I was afraid of creating videos to teach other photographers, because you always think, who am I to teach someone else? They're going to tell me that this is wrong, that this is not the correct way. And that happens with everyone. And that's the main thing that stops people from creating or from being out there, because they think that people they're not gonna approve what you do, or they're gonna say that you're not an expert. And of course, anything is gonna be perfect. Like, so my first videos, I was having comments, oh, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to post people, oh, you're getting too close to them. Lots of comments. But if I had, and of course it feels really tough, like it feels really like, it's kind of like, oh, it feels like that very bad, but you need to just keep going. So that's what I did. I said, okay, I'm just gonna keep going, I'm just gonna ignore what they say, and I'm gonna do it because I have fun doing it. So that was the big commitment, like, do the things because you want to do them, not expecting nothing in return. Because when you do create a video and say, and are expecting that people like it, that they applaud you, it's gonna go very bad, because now you're setting your mind to you're doing things for one reason, and then your brain starts working different. So just do it because you want, just have fun, keep doing it, and just stop listening to what everybody is doing. Now, of course, I started finding other photographers that were doing the same. But again, if you stop doing what you're doing because a lot of people are doing the same, that's a huge mistake, because I discovered that I had my own personality. And it takes time, though. Let me tell you, the first 20 videos, I was very stiff, very fake, very, very like, acting very, you could tell the difference. So if you go to my first episode and then go to my 60th episode, it's going to look very different. But that's part of the process. It takes time. It takes time to understand how you feel when you're talking in front of the camera, how you act. So it takes practice and doing it over and over and over again. So you start acting like the way you act with your husband, with your family, with your friends, like the way you're thinking when you're alone. When we're alone, we're awesome. When I'm in my mind, I'm always awesome and talking to big stages and wow, and so fluent. But suddenly you'll get there, you start showing your personality, but there's no skipping that curve. That's a learning curve, and that you need to do it with practice and practice and practice. So I just said, I'm gonna do it. And I kept reading books. Actually, one great book that helped me with growing my YouTube, it was Crushing It from Gary Vaynerchuk. Crushing It was, wow, like gave me the power to keep going, doing it, no matter what. And so I recommend you that book, and everybody, for all the people that want to build your business, grow your business, have more exposure. Just forget about what people say, just do what you want. And suddenly that people that is like you is going to turn and look at you and say, hey, I found you. Before they didn't find you because you weren't showing yourself. So the more you keep doing it, someone that is like you is gonna find you. So I promise that. So you just gotta keep going. So that's what I just did.
Well, I think, what we were talking before we started, recording, is that the key is consistency. Mm-hmm. And I think that's and what you're talking about, and where a lot of people fall short, is like they do it one time and they maybe don't get the response, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then it's like, yeah, maybe this isn't for me. And that was, I think that was your secret. And what you're saying is like, you just have to keep being consistent with it.
Yes, that's true, completely. And especially in YouTube, YouTube and Instagram, you need to be constant. Like I started the first year creating videos, having nothing in return, nothing, but just the satisfaction that I was improving, that I was doing better, that I was feeling more free talking to the camera, and that I was slightly showing my personality. Like in the 60th episode, something like that, that you can see me now doing the things that I like when I do photo shoots. People now that follow me, they know that I like martial arts, that I'm a black belt, that I love kickboxing, that I love matcha green tea, because I'm always doing those stuff in my videos. If you go and see one of my videos, I'm kicking. I just grab a piece of equipment and I just practice and I kick. So I just started doing the things that I love, but I started mixing it with photography. That was so cool. That's what I'm telling you about, telling stories about adding your personality, but that takes time. So you need to do it one and again, lots of times. And suddenly you'll feel that you can mix both very easy. And but that, as you were saying, it is about being consistent. I was for 1 year publishing Sunday and Wednesday, two times a week videos. So it was a lot of work. I was having like, for me, it was a big thing to reach the 100 followers. I was like, oh my gosh. And it took me months. But because of the work that I was doing, and many people, I had like 100 and something followers and very, very few comments. And they used to say, Blanca, I can't believe like all the things that you say, like you're great, your content is amazing. I can't believe that so little people follow you. I can't believe that you don't have enough followers. So you share more things that other photographers don't share. So they started telling me those comments, and I was feeling like, okay, I'm the right path. I just need to be patient. And so yes, 1 year later, my channel one day went from 1,000 to 10,000. Like that. And I was, oh my God, this is so awesome. I can't believe. And people that just knew me at that time were like, how lucky are you? You went from 1 week to another to 10,000. Oh my gosh, she's doing so great. Oh, how lucky is she? So lucky if they should know all the work that I put, years and all the work. So you need to look at when you see somebody doing well, just don't look at it. You just see the surface, because you're gonna feel bad. You're gonna start comparing yourself. Better ask, what do you do? Tell me all the things that you went through to get there, and then you'll understand, and then you have a different perspective, and then you feel motivated to do it.
What about, how do you kind of push yourself over those tough times, like when you've got like 100 or followers or whatever it is, whatever you're working on, and you're just not getting the results? Is there something, a mantra inside that you tell yourself, or how do you kind of motivate yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, because it's not like you're motivated all the time. Like you don't get up and yes, I feel great today. Sometimes you don't feel like that. But it's like you just do the first step, and then you start feeling it. Like when you go to the treadmill, when you're running, of course you don't feel like, oh, I'm gonna run like 1 hour. You just step on it and start. The first minute is always the hardest one. So you feel so heavy the first minute, but if you keep doing it, then your body gets used to it, and then they start you feeling, empowered. So it's the same way that I was doing it. Like I don't feel it. Sometimes I don't feel to recording a video, but anyway, I just keep moving. The key, just keep moving, like literally keep your body moving. So I get up. Okay, I don't feel like, but I go to the mirror and I start doing my makeup. I don't feel like doing, but I'm just gonna do my makeup anyway. And as soon as I see myself transforming and doing my hair and everything, I was like, I feel great. Let's do it. So, so you just keep doing it, because really for a woman, like if women are watching me, they're gonna feel related, because it brings you tons of confidence, like the way you look yourself. So that's a huge thing for women. And so one more thing that was very challenging for me when I was doing this, like doing more videos for my content and reading more, my kids were little, like because I have 3 kids, and the youngest are twins. So they were like 2 years old. Actually, they were 1 year old. And at that time, that's when I had that mentality. I'm going to change. I'm going to read every day. I want to read 1 book per week. That was my purpose. So you used to see me every day with 1 book, and with my twins, like whatever I was doing, I was with the book. And we were outside in the garden, and I was pushing them in the swing yard, and I was pushing them, and I was with the book. I was in the restroom, and I was in the book. I was cooking, and so it was. I think you need to go very aggressive. Like if you want change, if you want to change, you need to put 10 times the effort. I mean, there's no other way. you can not just wait for things to happen. You really need to just do it and say, okay, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do 3 more times what other people are doing if I want to see results. And so that's what I just did. I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do more and more and more. And so when you start getting in that state of mind, you just keep doing like a robot. Like you turn into a machine and you just keep doing it and doing it. But it helps a lot that you keep reading books that help you with that, because it's very tricky when you read books. Like when you read a lot of books, it's great, right? You learn and become wiser. But the kind of books that you're reading determines the action that you're taking. So if I start reading a book in psychology, all the what I'm thinking those months is about psychology and about about my childhood and going back. Oh yes, I see money this way because when I was a kid, I was, you know what I mean? So in that, like if you want to have that great change, like become a machine, then choose the books that you're going to read for that season. So I was reading books from, what's his name? They're SEALs, ex-SEALs. And
David Goggins.
It was, can you tell me the name? It's Rocco, I think is his name, the author.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't forget his name. But yeah.
Ownership.
Yeah.
That's the name of the book. Ownership. And Tim Gruber's Relentless. He was
Awesome
the coach
book
for Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. So read those kind of books that tell you how successful people and people that are like that category of people, like really the GOATs, how they do it. So when you start reading those, every day you're acting like that. So that helped me a lot. So I think that was the key for me, to choose the right books to give me the motivation, even though I wasn't feeling one day with that motivation.
Man, awesome stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff.
And I really wanted to change. There's a point in your life when you feel that's it, that's enough. I need the change. There's a point that you get frustrated and say, that's it. That was the point when I said, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I know we're coming up on our time, and there's a lot of good stuff that you gave us, but any other, suggestions for maybe someone struggling or just trying to take their business to the next level?
I will say that just reach to other people, because doesn't matter the business that you're in, you can learn a lot from other industries, and you can collaborate, like the way we're doing right now. We're collaborating in an interview, and for example, the other day a friend came to me. She started being a realtor. She took the test and she was selling houses. Well, that's what she wanted to do. And she said that was first time for her starting a business. And I was like, how's it going? And he's like, that's terrible. Like, can't believe running a business is so hard. Like, I don't have any clients. Nobody comes to me. So how do you do it, Blanca? Like, how can you do this for many years? And so that time I talked to her and I said, you need to read other kind of stuff, read other kind of books. And that time I told her, you know what? If you're a realtor, you don't have to just focus on posting houses, like this house and come to this open house. You need to become the expert. But you're going to become the expert not only in houses, but in the entire city. And so I was telling her, so what if you start a podcast or a YouTube channel or a blog where you visit different parts of the city, right? So visit this school, visit this park, interview these people. And so every episode, you're going to be showing different parts of Houston. So tell stories, say what this business, this new ice cream that is new, it is great because it has this, this neighborhood is great because there's this school that is having this new program. And then you go and interview the principal and share that information. So you become, you're not only talking about houses, you're actually adding stories from people living in different places of the city, interviewing them, talking about their experiences in that neighborhood. So in that way, you're gonna create content. You have something to tell. So you're never gonna run out of ideas when you go and collaborate with other people. When you ask to other people to tell their stories, that's a great way to do it for any kind of business. Go and ask their stories, their experiences to share it, because there's always people that want to hear because they're in the same situation. And so I was telling my friends, so in that way, you're going to start to be known as the expert in Houston, like the go-to person in Houston. So if I'm someone that listens to your podcast and suddenly a new friend is coming to town and say, hey, Blanca, we need to buy a house. Oh, you got to go and listen to my friend. She knows all the places and all the neighborhoods in Houston. She's good. She's the go-to. She's the expert. You know, she happens to be a realtor as well. So that, see, you can start talking about other stuff, become an expert, become the people that go to for that thing. And you're not actually saying, oh, I'm a realtor, I do this, or I'm a photographer, I do videos, do show behind the scenes. I tell them how to pose. I tell photographers how they can be more productive when they're working. But I'm not saying, hey, buy my courses, you know? So there's always ways to talk about what you do without actually saying, you know, give me the money. Actually, you need to first share, give value, give the most value that you can in any industry that you are, give value. Oh, I'm sure that you know a lot of things. We are all experts. So don't tell anybody to tell you otherwise. What you know is different than someone else knows. So what you know, maybe I don't know. So if you don't share it, I will never know. And you will never create that friendship, that connection with me, because I never heard your thoughts. So always share what you know, ask people, collaborate, and you'll see that the topics are going to be endless.
Awesome. Blanca, how do people get in touch with you, find you, learn more about you?
Well, I'm in YouTube as Blanca Duran. And I'm very, very active on Instagram. Like every day, or every hour, you're gonna see something new on my stories. So on Instagram, I'm as Blanca Duran Photo in Spanish. That's with F, Blanca Duran Photo. So they find me there.
Awesome. Blanca, a pleasure. La próxima vez hacemos en español.
Perfecto, claro que sí. Perfecto. Yo encantada. Saludos. Gracias, a todos.
Blanca. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.